Okay, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to Rebecca. As top producer last year, you gave us all an example on how to handle the spotlight with charm, delicacy, and grace. You have given me a perfect example on how a true winner is to act. I spent a lot of last year thinking about what I would say had I had the opportunity to be up here speaking, and your speech, Rebecca, played in my head over and over again. So thank you for inspiring all of us.
Thank you.
I mean that. Tony, last year, when you made your way onto this team, I had reservations. You were way too confident and way too assertive. I think our similarities made me apprehensive, so it took a minute. But I remember at the vision board party last year, you said, and I quote, "Everyone has been so friendly. It's made me feel like it's a family, and it's a family I belong in." Well, you certainly do, and I thank you for your friendship. 2020 was definitely a great year for me, but you had your best year in real estate as well. And with a couple different bounces, you could be up here instead of me. So cheers to you and your phenomenal year. And if I don't win it again next year, it'll be my honor to hand that trophy to you. So, I normally would rather come up here without a prepared speech, but I wanted to make sure that I would leave you all with something that made an impact. So I put paper to pen. As I'm approaching 40 years old, this July, I have spent much time thinking about my life, who I have become, and the situations in my life that had led me to where I am. Darius Rucker has a song called This. In it, he says, "Everything I've missed has led me here to this." With that in mind, I just share with you a little bit about my life. I grew up privileged with two older sisters and a younger brother. Raised in Coral Gables, we all went to private school, ski trips every winter, and European vacations with the entire family. We had never been denied a thing in our lives. Our parents came from Cuba with nothing, so everything that we had came from serious hard work, challenges, and adversity. The deep pain of being a Cuban exile, I could never fully understand, as it is an emotion that is borrowed from my parents, not one that I've ever had to endure myself. But around sophomore year in high school, my parents got separated and the life that I had once known was no longer. My parents had a messy divorce that lingered for years, and I remember distinctly my parents telling me nothing was ever going to change. Little did I know that nothing would ever be the same, and the only thing true about their statement was the word change. Sorry, I'm trying to get some good light here. After 2 years in college and the reality that tuition would no longer be paid for, I decided that I was finished. A change of scenery was in order, and off to New York City I went. I lived with my sister for 4 years, making no more than $30,000 a year. My time in New York was similar to college in the fact that I was exploring my life, learning what I could, and I was broke through all of it. I have memories that will last my whole life and relationships that stand till this day, but after 4 years of living in a tiny apartment and not making any money, I fled back to Miami with the idea of taking control of my life. So, what do I mean by taking control of my life? Well, for 5 years, I had about 5 different jobs, never able to figure out my true passion. I had little to no confidence in almost everything I did. I was overweight, on a bad diet, no exercise, heavy cigarette smoker, and I was just waiting for something to fall on my lap. The last chance at a career, I thought, was latching onto my brother and riding his coattails to success. He had done well early in his filmmaking career, and a company was formed that I was going to help run. I didn't know a thing about the business, but I found out early that I hated it. But since I had very little motivation, I just wrote it out. I wrote it out until a company had ran its course, and we all had to go our own ways. My brother was eager to move along to the next chapter of his filmmaking career, and I had nothing. So with much pressure from family and friends, I decided that I would go get my real estate license. I stumbled into Gold Coast and I took the classes and I failed the state exam twice. Again, with no motivation, much less dealing with the annoyance of passing a real estate exam, I told myself, if I don't pass on the 3rd try, fuck it. I'll figure something else out. So I actually passed. I'm 32 years old now, newly licensed at the end of my rope, and I have to figure out how I'm going to change my life. They don't tell you when you get your real estate license that you won't be able to practice what you've learned until you find clients. I was not good at self-promotion, and I was dealing with a lot of much internal doubt. I was driving an early 2000s Jeep Cherokee, a hand-me-down from my late stepfather. This car was as reliable at getting me around as I was at selling real estate. If the car was ever turned off, it was unsure if it would turn back on again. So whenever I would show property, the car stayed on. When clients ask why, I would say, I want to make sure the car's not too hot when we're done with the showing. With the amount of debt I was incurring and my unreliable transportation, I was barely able to even be present to sell real estate. A few rentals and a couple deals that never surmounted to more than $2 million in volume, that's about all that I was able to muster. But as my first year in real estate came and went, I can tell you that something happened. I got the bug. I suddenly found myself obsessed with the business. A little spark lit up inside me and I realized that I found something I was searching for my whole life, a passion. Although life the next few years were tough financially, I was excited because I love what I was doing. I was determined to be the most well-researched person in the business. I would go into the office every day and just study. I knew who every top producer was and I knew how they got to their success. I cut out the newspaper of the EWM top producers and taped it to my desk with the goal of one day being in the paper myself and going on stage to receive an award for real estate excellence. But as time went on, the ups and downs of real estate were driving me mad. I was living every deal I was living off every single deal financially. You could smell the commission breath from a mile away. This was no way to earn the trust of clients. I had never learned how to save money and the checks were so sporadic. I was having serious struggles staying afloat. So I tried to connect with a top agent who could try to mentor me and give me some help. Twice, I joined top producing agents at the EWM Gables office. These both were major flops. How was I going to assist anyone when I had very little confidence in what I was doing? But I was thrown into the fire and I saw firsthand what it meant to be a top producer. You had to be fierce, competitive, and incredibly hardworking. I can tell you that at the time, I could never match that intensity. I was way too green, way too unaware of what it would take to support a top producer, much less even think that I could be one. These agents were powerhouses in the business, successful agents, sharp business minds, but at the time, they were unable to provide me with what I needed for my career at that moment. Anxiety is setting in because I'm on my own again and I can't find my way. I'm living at my mom's beach apartment, barely able to pay her rent. I remember waking up in the mornings and going to the gym and literally crying in my car. I'm 35 years old and I have nothing going on. No money, no business. I was a failure. My chest felt like it was about to explode. I had just started dating someone and that relationship was putting me in an even further financial hole. I was unable to keep up. It eventually all came to a head. I was 100% stuck. I think I had $1,200 in my bank account, no deals on the horizon, and a breakup to add to the emotional stress. I thought about possibly getting a job with EWM. Oh, God. Yeah, at least I would stay in real estate and that was a good thing, right? I was negotiating with myself, making compromises with my future, and shortchanging my dreams. Enter the Riley Smith Crew. Okay. Riley had always had the most desirable team at EWM. From my purview, these were the cool kids of real estate. They sold like crazy, they had a vibe to them. Riley wore flip-flops, and they were all pretty casual bunch, but some of the nicest people in the business. Riley had always been so generous with his time that I could only imagine the type of mentorship he would offer his team members. But the club was pretty exclusive. Although a big team for industry standards at the time, it was about a 7-agent team. From the outside looking in, this was Camelot, but to me, it was just a dream.
You got it, buddy. Come on.
I'm almost done. Little did I know that something was happening internally that would open the door for me to change my life. It was 2016 and the team was shifting. No one on the outside knew this, but things were changing. Carl Fournier came into the picture and he and Riley shook things up. They had aspirations of a scalable real estate team built on coaching, education, guidance, collaboration, and leverage. I ran into Carl at a real estate conference and he told me, "Let's talk. I've been thinking about you and I have some ideas." I couldn't believe it. Could this be that I'm actually being recruited? After 3 meetings with Carl, he explained to me the aggressive approach to real estate sales that they intended to build into the culture of this team. And I felt like a cadet who was being handed a rifle to go fight combat.
Carl can do that.
I was scared shitless. This was so new to me. So in an office, I sat with Carl and Raul doing something they called prospecting. This made my stomach turn. I was actually going to have to call people. My very first call, I dialed the number. The person picked up, and I immediately hung up the phone. Just to give you an idea of what an uphill battle I faced. Little by little, I did find my way, and I had some successes. The team and the mentorship I was getting helped me work through my insecurities and build up my confidence. All of a sudden, I'm making deals and I'm making money. But beyond financial gain, the personal successes, the professional success, find the financial gain, the professional successes, my time on this team has been nothing short of extraordinary. We've had some really fun times, all of us here, and all of you new people, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. The relationships that I have on this team are some of the most important that I have in my life. As I wrap this up, I want everyone on this team who's trying to find their way to know that I might be top producer today, but I was in your shoes not long ago. Nothing about real estate happens fast. It's a slow burn. That's why so few people are successful. They jump ship before they make it happen. Well, I'm here to tell you, if only one thing, don't ever give up. Stick around long enough to see your own success. I'm gonna share with you some numbers. In Rebecca's speech last year, she mentioned monetary value. This was important to her because she had a hard time correlating monetary worth and self-worth. This is not to say that you are worth what you make. It is to believe you are worth what it is you want to make. Believe it, imagine it, think about it, pray about it, obsess about it, and this can happen to you. My net earnings since joining the Riley Smith Group. In 2017, I made $55,000. In 2018, I made $73,000. In 2019, I made $132,000. And last year, I made $236,000. Now, money can't buy you happiness, but it can help with the down payment. I know what it's like to have your back against the wall and feeling like you're hopeless. It fucking sucks. But you have to go through it to appreciate success. Everything I have missed has led me here to this. And this is being with you, my RSG family. Thank you for supporting me and nurturing my growth. And Riley, thank you for helping me change my life.
All right, Koki, congratulations. Anybody